What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk, the most underrated podcast on earth. And there is just something about the underdog. But, ladies and gentlemen, you see him to my right, an absolute beast, one of the fastest rising coaches in bodybuilding history. I've got to say it. The tatted legend, Mr. Stefan Kienzl. What is up, sir? How you doing today, man?
Everything quite well. I dealt a little bit with a jet lag getting back from Columbus, Ohio, from the Arnold, because it's just I think it's a 7 hour difference to Vienna to Columbus, and it always hits a little bit when you get back to the east. But actually, all is quite well, and we are preparing the athletes for the spring season. The Arnold's was just the kickoff show of 2023. So we gonna see that we get some more Olympia qualifications and good athletes on stage this summer.
And obviously, sir, we are almost 2 weeks post Arnold Classic. It feels like it was just last weekend. And sir, you had some heavy hitters in the shows. How many athletes do you actually have in this year's Arnold Classic?
Just two. It was Diogo Montenegro and it was Łuska Leczyński. And I'm very happy with the outcome. Both had been third the year before. We moved up one place to second place, and it wasn't not just that, it was really a close battle. Diogo and Erin was super close, and it was closer as we thought before. And the same is for Urs with Ramon. It was really a close battle, and it is as bodybuilding should be. It was a battle on the highest level, so it was really good, not only as a coach, also as a fan of that sport, to see the boys battling it out on such a high level. And I also have to congratulate Erin and also Ramon, who both looked at their absolute best, and they are the winners of the show. But we come back and we try to do it better at the Olympia. So that will be the next turn.
Hey, this was just the stage before the Super Bowl. There's preparation that obviously you as the coach will implement. And obviously now Urs kind of took to his Instagram profile to reveal that he had been, hospitalized 5 days before the Classic. Sorry, I'm getting excited, with food poisoning. Now as a coach, what were your first thoughts? Is this something that you were worried about, or was this something that you kind of overlooked in a sense?
Actually, it's that way. I come from a medical background. I studied medicine. I'm not a doctor. I quit it just shortly before finishing it and went to economics and was working in the infrastructure of building hospitals and writing quality management systems. But I come from a medical background, so that makes it easier for me to objectivate those things. With Urs, we are always close to a perfect condition when it comes to his fat percentage. And everybody who is competing out there will know that when you are low on body fat, your immune system is not that well and not that good. Even if Urs never got sick before, if you look back to last year's Arnold or 2 years back Arnold, we all got COVID. Urs never got COVID. So he was his immune system was the Terminator, because he never got sick. And we flew to Columbus at the same time, but with different stops. Urs had to go from Frankfurt to Atlanta. I went to Chicago. And when I landed in Chicago, I got the message that he's not feeling well, that he has diarrhea, and that he starts to vomit. So for me, that was the first sign of whoa. It's getting dangerous, and it will get tricky, because at that level, if we could say what is Urs missing, then it is a little bit of muscle mass. We are still about you can play with the weight always, but we are still about 4 pounds under the weight limit, so we have room to grow in. So my first sorrow was, okay, I don't want to waste any tissue, and I want to bring him as full as possible to stage. That's why I was a little bit in sorrow, but sometimes you just ate something wrong and it's over 2 or 3 hours later. So we stayed connected, and I hope that it will get better. That was about, I would say, Saturday about lunchtime American time, but until the evening it didn't get better. It also didn't get better until Sunday morning. It get worse. He had to vomit more. He had to go to the toilet more. He wasn't able to keep any food in, so there was no possibility to eat at all. And the last time he was eating and kept it in was Friday, 6 p.m. So with the time difference, he was out of energy for about 30 hours. That I said, okay, at 7 a.m. in the morning, we now go to the hospital. And we went to the Ohio State Hospital. And really, the people there were just so nice. I've never met so nice people in Europe. When you get to hospital as a bodybuilder, the first thing you will recognize is that they say it's your own fault, fuck off. But those guys were so incredibly nice. They asked if we are here for the Arnolds. We said yes. We said he's one of the contenders for the title. Oh, cool! We have to bring him on stage, and we have to make it happen that he can go on stage. And because I have the medical background, we really communicated very well. He got 2 IV drips, medication for the cramps, and he felt better. We gave him a lot of sodium, a lot of electrolytes, and a lot of fluid. And until the evening, he still had diarrhea, but he just had a little bit more power.
Yeah.
On Monday, he slowly started to eat, but there was no chance for going to train. So he hasn't trained since Friday, hasn't eaten since Friday, and we started to slowly build up the food. The first time he hadn't to vomit was Monday evening. So at least we got him some calories in, and Tuesday morning we went the first time to the gym, and really that boy is an absolute warrior with zero energy. He did his workout. We took a look not to overdo it, but he did his work and the food stayed in. So we had to build up his power and his stamina. So I went directly up with the calories to get the power in. And then I still feared that a rebound would come, because always when you have diarrhea, there's a rebound coming. And when you know you have a weight cap, a rebound could be a big problem. But we managed to get rid of the rebound, or even not have a rebound, so that I was able to carb up one day before the weigh-in. So we already started carving up on Wednesday, one day after he was able to eat again. And the luck was on our side. Weight-in went very, very well. Carb up went very, very well. And we saw the best with Kaliczynski on stage to date. And that with all of that struggle. So it was quite nice, and a big relief to have that performance and that output of his physique at that show.
And I mean, I got to chalk it up to great coaching too, sir. I mean, that's got to be a great teamwork, obviously, between you, your athlete, the doctors, just kind of figuring everything out and still getting him peaked and looking fantastic before he stepped on stage. And obviously, I know you and him are going back to the drawing board already for the O, and knowing what you got to work on, knowing, what needs improvement. Now, obviously, how did you feel the Arnold went as an event as well, in terms of kind of the open, the classic, the physique? I mean, did you think it went smoothly?
Yeah, everything went well. The Arnold is always a brilliantly organized show. for sure it's easier to organize an Arnold as an Olympia because it's 10 times less competitors. So the time schedules were good as always. The shows were good. The judging were good. So there's nothing to mourn about. I'm happy with the outcome. Sure, I want to win with my athletes, but the time will come, and it was fairly judged. So no discussion about that. Perhaps the only thing I would have judged differently would be bikini. I'm a real Maureen fan, and I think she has the better symmetry, the more pleasant physique than Laura Lee has. So I would have had her winning. But besides that, every decision is quite okay. I'm a huge Jean Clarida fan, so I would have loved him overtaking Rami, but in the end, when you're sitting quite in the front and see those two athletes beside each other, the mass difference is just so ridiculously high. But still, also congratulations to Matt Jensen out there, because he did a brilliant job with both of the athletes. You know, every Olympia athlete was struggling with that short time between the two shows, and everybody was exhausted, and but they really did well and did a hell of a job. So actually the Arnold's was perfect as always. Just not perfect is the time schedule. It's not good and not wise to have the two biggest shows of the season calendar within 10 weeks. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, that is actually ridiculous. I didn't even realize how short of a period it was. I was watching your competitors, it feels like yesterday, and then I'm watching them again at the Arnold. So obviously it does feel very close. Now, obviously, you know, one of Erz's biggest competitors, and you know, a big rivalry is kind of starting, is obviously him versus Chris Bumstead. And obviously the two have been going toe to toe, and it's really wonderful and remarkable to see. Now, Chris has talked about going to, you know, the open division. What do you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. And talking about Chris, Chris is one of a million. He's one of a billion. He's one of a number you can't even imagine. He's a very humble guy. He's unbelievably good as a bodybuilder, but more than that, we all in the bodybuilding and fitness industry have to say thank you, Chris Bumstead, because he made the industry bigger. You know, he's the same type of person as Arnold Schwarzenegger was, who really was able to make something bigger. So I don't think that for him it's necessary or a wise thing to go to the open. It just, for sure, I would love him to go to the open because I love bodybuilder, and I would be happy that if he would make place for the other competitors to come. But actually, I don't think that rumors will always be there, because I'm sure he could be a top 10 Olympian easily at the open class. If you see Chris Bumstead in the off season, he has so much tissue, and he sucks the tissue so much down, not wasting muscle, but he sucks it down to get that grainy, nasty look he has. So he could step on stage with a lot of more volume and still beat all the other people in condition. That it could be easily for him to place higher than most people would think in the open division. But on the other hand, okay, he could be, let's say, 8th at the Mr. Olympia, when he could making bigger legacy of winning the classic division over and over again. And I think we all will also agree that he's not doing it because of the prize money. I think that's not a thing you could catch Chris Bumstead for.
Yeah, and obviously a true competitor, and I mean the rivalry between Erz and him again has just been fantastic. Now, obviously, sir, you have been working in the health and sports industry for 15 years plus, and you know, aside from being a coach, you were also as a bodybuilder yourself for a few years. So, why make the switch from bodybuilder to coach? And then has this helped you been able to be in those shoes as of the athlete?
In the beginning, I've been a medicine student and
Yeah.
not really interested in sports that much. I have been a cyclist when I was a teenager, but then I totally drifted into the music direction and played for a long time in a death black metal band. You still can see in my office a lot of CDs or guitars around. So
Wow.
that's also
Awesome.
part of my passion. And during that rock and roll time, I got fat because too much alcohol and too much of all that stuff around. So when I was, I think 2003, 22, my brother bought me a membership for a gym because he was training and working out. And I was studying medicine in the third year at that time. And I went to the gym and immediately fell in love. I can't remember when, except music and my wife, when I ever felt in love with something that quickly.
Yeah.
So I started training with 110 fat kilograms, and in January and in April I had 68. But I was able at that time to squat 120 kilograms, to deadlift 150 kilograms. I was on stage 1 year after with 74.
Oh.
I was on stage 1 year after with 89. And then I decided to quit. There were multiple reasons. The first reason was I was born with some diseases. For example, I have colitis ulcerosa, which is an autoimmune disease of the digestion system, which makes me really, really hard to digest food as it should be. Second thing is, whenever I get under highly stress, I won't digest at all. So that was the first problem. The second problem, I started training already with a torn chest, a broken collarbone, a broken shoulder, a damaged knee, and a broken spine. So whatever I did was a huge stress to my body, and it wasn't possible to grow in a symmetric way because there was so much damage before. So 2006, I decided to quit, and I started to coach actually. And in the days back then, it was normal to coach just for free for friends. and that I did until 2011 and coached a lot of world championships in different federations and national champions. 2013, I thought I have to compete one more time again, which I did.
Wow.
Just to see if I can get back in condition, which worked out quite well. But after that, I just focused on coaching and was happy about that decision because I was, with my body, would have been never able to reach that spheres which I reached as a coach. And you said before, one of the fastest rising guys in publicity, yes, but what I do since 15 years. The point is, when I started coaching in the NABA. The NABA is the federation which hosts the Mr. Universe contest, the original one where Arnold Schwarzenegger won 6 times. So I was in that NABA bubble. And there is no NABA United States, for example. NABA is very strong was very strong. Now it isn't anymore. Was very strong in the UK, was very strong here in Austria, from where I am, was very strong in Brazil. For example, NABA Mr. Universe was Flex Lewis, Dennis James, Lionel Bejeke, Thomas Bures, They all came out of the NABA and switched then to the NPC. And I was in that federation and coaching in that federation.
Oh,
And I had always problems with the old IFBB, because the old IFBB, the IFBB Amateur, as it still exists, that's just a federation which is strange. They come to you and say you have to put your foot in that direction, because if you don't put it that, we will disqualify you. So at the moment, there was the split between NPC and the old IFBB. I was able to go with my athletes again to the NPC shows and winning pro cards at the NPC shows, because all was open. And
yep.
that's why a lot of people think I'm quite new, because for me, it was a big luck that there was the split of the federation and I had the possibility to go to NPC shows. And since that, everything worked out quite well. But I already had the competitors. I had the good competitors. I just had no possibility to compete, because the old IFBB was such a strict federation. And with the new one, everything turned out quite well. And that was the moment when I could place my athletes and my competitors to the right places, and then gain some success and work up the ranks.
And I mean, you did work up the ranks. And sir, how does it feel to be arguably considered one of the greats right now with Hani and Matt Jansen? How does that feel after kind of where you started to see where you are now as an elite coach?
Hani and Matt are still in a different league, because they have proved their success for so many years, and that's something I want to achieve and work for it. It's consistency which makes, in my opinion, a good coach. I now had 4 or 5 excellent years, but I want to keep that for another 10 years and work the ranks up. But actually, it feels good. It's something I'm working for 15 years, or now at least nearly 20 years. So let's bring some consistency and let's work it up. I have a good hand, or I had the luck to find, when you are a coach, you're also a little bit a talent scout.
Yes.
Okay. Because you have to find the right person you can work with it. And I had the luck to find a lot of talents in man physique and in classic physique. But sure, I also want to find some athletes in the open division, and that's still on my list to get a top 10, or to make, or to help a top 10 Olympian in the open division, and that's something which makes you even more to a coaching legion. So there's still some work to do.
I mean, sir, there is work for all of us to do, but you are doing it extraordinarily well. And, I kind of want to end this. You've really seen it all in bodybuilding and coaching, sir, and obviously are elite. So what is one tip you would share for a bodybuilder to be successful in this sport that you love?
We had a connection problem and I didn't hear the question.
So what is one tip you would share for a bodybuilder to be successful in the sport that you love, sir?
Consistency. It's all about consistency and all about giving things the time they take. There is no shortcut. It's just consistency, getting better in what you do, and don't lose the love and the fun for the sport. Because back when I started with bodybuilding, we just went to the gym to train and wait what happens. Nobody of us thought about competing, or nobody of us thought about getting a pro, or nobody of us thought about getting to the Olympia. We just trained and loved to get better and use every minute we have in the gym. And that's something which I see often missing in today's bodybuilders. So get a little bit back of that. Then be patient, be consistent, and the success will come.
And the success will come. I mean, I think bodybuilding needs to have that passion to it that we did see in the old days with Arnold just loving being there. I mean, the old school bodies, Dorian, just it's fun, Your committing yourself to it. No one's forcing you to do it. Enjoy it. Love the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And be consistent. Now, Stefan, it has been such an honor talking with one of the up-and-coming coaches in this sport. Now, the floor is yours. Where can we find your content? Are you open for coaching? The floor is yours, sir.
Just follow me on my Instagram page. It's Boss of Outlaw. Drop me a message whenever you want to know more something about my work or you want to be coached by me. My slots are always open. You can always write me, and I will decide if I would like to work with you, which is not dependent on how good you are. It's more dependent on how realistic you are and how realistic your goals and if you are willing to work. There are also tons of videos with me out there, especially I've not produced a lot of videos in the last 2 years, but before on my YouTube channel, Stefan Kienzl. But you can also find a lot of stuff with me on the channel of Urs Kaliczynski, on the channel of Diogo, or on the German Rep 1 channel, where is also a lot of footage from all the shows.
And Wesley also has a lot of videos of you, sir, as well.
Yes, yeah, you're right. You're right. You will also find English-speaking content at Wesley's page. You're right.
Yep, that's what I was watching because I could not understand the other language, but I was watching his and your training, and it was badass. But ladies and gentlemen, please go check out the next big thing. I mean, you see him right here. His athletes are taking over. There is nothing else to it. Check his YouTube out as well, and I'm pretty sure you can change the translation to English on YouTube if that's something, or if you know the languages better than me. But I mean, thank you so much, Stefan, for taking the time.
You're welcome.
An honor and privilege talking with you. Such a positive influence in the community. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, guys, Underdog